question to you, quite simply, why do you feel that we need ticket offices in train stations in this day and age, all the technology as it is?
Well, I think they're massively important, Michelle, because when people travel, it's a stressful experience and often you need to speak to people. And the thing is this, if the government thinks ticket offices only sell tickets, well, they've got that drastically wrong, because people go in there for a whole host of reasons. You mentioned 1,000 ticket offices. Well, these are really important services in the heart of communities up and down England. Just to say that we can just take them away, well, honestly, I don't think the public are there with it. But there's a second reason. And let's just go with the thing that, most people buy their tickets these days digitally, and a lot of people do. But on the government's figures, 12% of people don't. And they are people without access to online connectivity, or they will perhaps be disabled people, older people, who don't buy their tickets that way. Are we really saying that those people don't matter? And for that reason, I would say these proposals are downright discriminatory, because many disabled people physically can't use ticket machines. They're not online. What are they meant to do? It's going to force those people off the railways. I was speaking to people representing those with dementia yesterday. They say it will force many people with dementia off the railways. At a time when we should be encouraging people to use public transport, the government are doing the precise opposite.
But isn't some of the counter-argument to that what they're trying to do is get away from the static ticket office and move more towards what they would perhaps call like a roving staff member situation, where, yes, you've still got somebody, so they're there if you need them, but they're not just stationary in a box hoping that someone might want to buy a ticket?
Well, that's part of their argument, but the problem with that argument, Michelle, is it's not that they're going to have people around for the same amount of time that the ticket offices will be open. The plans for Greater Manchester show that they're going to have people there for an hour a day or something like that. There are massive cuts behind these plans, so they're taking people off the railway. And so that means the support won't be there for people when they're travelling. I mean, we all know what it's like. Sometimes, there's a cancellation, a delay. It's definitely like that up here in the north of England. People are often facing chaos on the railways. And then, people get stressed and they need to find out more. They want to go and talk to somebody where they know they will find that person behind the glass in the ticket office. What's this all about? Many of the ticket machines up here, Michelle, are cashless. And I know this is an issue that you've been raising on GBNews. What are we saying to people who don't have bank accounts, bank cards, who don't like to pay in that way? Again, are we just going to force those people off the railways? There's so many issues here, and I honestly don't know why the government are proceeding with what they are doing. Myself and other mayors, 4 of us, are looking at taking legal action against these plans, and we are very much going to fight these plans all the way. We believe they are not complicit with the law. Not compliant with the law, because they've run a wrong process here where they should have run a 12-week process, but also because of the discriminatory impact of them on disabled people and older people, they're not compliant with equality legislation either. It's just a bad idea all the way through.
But let's talk brass tacks there, because I am on this issue. I have to say I can see both sides of the fence. The flip side to what you're saying is that when you look at how we use the railway these days, the whole fabric of society in many cases has changed. Many people don't commute anymore. They stay and work from home. That's kind of changed. And it's made people, we've had all of these strike days, many strike days. I think the RMT alone in this current wave, I think they're on day 34 when you count this weekend as well. So people have started to reorganise away from the railways. So some of these train companies would argue that actually we need to make cost savings, and that's why we're doing this, so that we can continue to provide the service that you reference.
But I don't think they're savings, Michelle, when they deter people from using the railways, when you're pushing people away from the railways. I've been told by my experts in Greater Manchester that these proposals will actually cost money, not save money. Why? Because, as I've said before, they'll push many older people, people with dementia, disabled people away from using the railways. So that will shrink the revenue that the railways are bringing in. And I don't think they will actually save money in the long run. I think it's clear now why the RMT are fighting back against what the government is doing to the railways. It looks like the government are putting the railways in managed decline. Shrink it back, cut it back, and just leave it as a sort of a threadbare, bare bones service for some people, but not for everybody in every community. I think we've got to fight back here, Michelle. We can't accept this. We've lost post offices. We're losing other services from communities. Why should we just accept that ticket offices can be ripped out of communities up and down England? I don't accept it. I won't accept it for Greater Manchester. I don't want them to close the 50 offices here. I am fighting back for older people, for disabled people, actually for everybody who cares about the railways and wants more people to use them, not less.
And do you think if we keep these ticket offices, I can tell you now, there's a lot of support for what you're saying coming through on my inbox from my viewers. Do you think then people, if we say to people, you know what, guys, we'll keep the ticket offices, but we're going to increase your fares to cover the cost of that, do you think that would be fair or not?
Well, I honestly don't think they need to do that because, as I said before, Michelle, if you give people confidence to use the railways, that brings in more money to the railways and therefore that pays for what we've always had in this country. We've always had ticket offices. Why are they suddenly unaffordable? And can I just remind everybody, Michelle, we pay sky-high prices for our rail tickets in this country, higher than pretty much anyone else in Europe. Are we really saying that we can't afford to keep open the offices where those tickets are sold? Are we saying that Manchester Piccadilly cannot have a ticket office, an office that's so full every single day when people are travelling? This is beyond party politics, Michelle. It isn't just point scoring. I'm pleased to hear that your viewers are coming out in support of what I'm saying, because I think this kind of goes to the heart of what kind of country we are. Are we going to become a country that just becomes faceless, soulless, cashless, where you just kind of force people out and you say, well, 12% of older and disabled people like to buy their tickets in person? Are we the kind of country that says, well, those people don't matter, forget about them? If they're not online, tough luck. Well, I honestly don't want to live in a country like that. I think we're better than that, and that's why this fight is a fight worth having for ticket offices, but actually more broadly than that. Britain feels pretty broken to me at the moment. We've had sewage going into our rivers and seas all summer. We've got energy bills that people on ordinary salaries can't afford, and we've got railways just in total chaos and now being cut back beyond the bare bones. When are we going to fight back against all of this? And I'm talking about fighting back people of all parties. I am not prepared to see these services just taken away. This is one on which we need to come together and say, no, you're not going to do this.
Andy Burnham, that is the Mayor there of Greater Manchester. Your message was heard and understood. Thank you very much for your time.